Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon and good evening to some of our people from around the world. My name is John McInnes. I'm the President and CEO of Print Audit, and I'm going to be showing you today a sneak peek and quick overview of our new software product, Print Audit Secure. You'll notice that all of your microphones are muted. The webinar system does that on its own. We've got people from all over the world and a lot of people on today. I see that they're piling in quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'll give a quick presentation, hopefully be around 20 minutes for the presentation and demo, and then there will be lots of time for questions. But as you're thinking of them, feel free to type them in the questions portion of the webinar, and then I'll read the questions at the end of the webinar and answer all of them. Also, if you're having any trouble seeing this or viewing this, we have Jeff Young, who works at Print Audit. He's on the line as well. You can chat to him or send a question. He's watching all of the questions to let him know that you're having issues, so he'll be able to help you out. Without further ado, for all those people that are here on time, I'm going to start on time as well. Print Audit Secure is a product that we've been working on for quite a long time. The reason that we've been working on it for a long time is that we wanted to make some significant changes and really build a better mousetrap with Print Audit Secure. I'd like to start off with a quick story. We expected Print Audit Secure to be launched somewhere around a year and a half ago. We've had no less than 3 ground-up rewrites. We've driven some software developers to the point of insanity, and it's been one of those real aching processes to get out a fantastic software product. And so I got to say that when it was finally ready and when we got to see it over the last few weeks in action, we're very proud of what we built, and I suspect any of you that have sold or built products, you've been through the same pain that we've been through in bringing what we all think of as our baby into the world. So we hope that you enjoy Print Audit Secure as much as we have. Some of the things that we wanted to make sure that we did in this version or in this release of Print Audit Secure was we wanted to make sure that the network and the way that it's installed and the way that it works will not interrupt at all any of your customers, or if you are an end user on the line, it won't interrupt or make you change the way that you print today. It works exactly within your network structure. You don't have to build new queues. You don't have to build secure ports. All of those things we've eliminated, and that was where the technical difficulty was. And the next thing that we wanted to do was we wanted to use current technologies, maybe not so current today with web browsers and those sorts of things, but we wanted to eliminate the need to have proprietary release stations. And so you'll see in a couple of minutes the way that you can release print jobs after they've left your desktop at the printer that are pretty cool. So the presentation, the PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to show you has 2 major parts to it. One is that it's positioning for office equipment dealers and IT VARs to understand what we did to make this better for their programs, and then positioning for the actual customers that are going to be using Print Audit Secure in their everyday lives. So we'll start off with office equipment dealers. Office equipment dealers, our partners that literally span the world, and a lot of you are on here today, our partners that span the world, their goal, of course, is to drive more volumes to their machines that are out in the field and win more deals. And our sales staff here, and we'll be able to show you, by including Print Audit Secure in your deals and adding them onto your MPS deals, you can actually charge more than your competitors for your devices. So we definitely want to increase your profits. Or instead of charging more, you can show your customers how they can move, they can add extra features, go up to the next level, because this software saves so much in and above what you're charging. It gives your customers the ability to get what they really want, and showing them how you can get what they really want is important. And the other thing that it does is for those that are selling MPS and service contracts that are trying to help their customers to right-size their network, get rid of local printers, get rid of, really right-size an organization and have less printers per person. What Print Secure does with that is it removes some of the major objections around why people keep their devices, mostly to do with confidentiality, so financials, HR documents, and security of actual printing. Another great thing about this product, and one of the things that we strive to achieve and was really important, Secure is an OEM-neutral pull printing solution, so that means that it will work on any device. It doesn't matter where it's being printed to. The job can be released to that device. And so there's no proprietary relationships here. As much as everybody would wish in a perfect world that their customer sites had only the devices that they sold, or the OEM and manufacturer of what they sold, it's not reality, and so we work with every device, which is great. Another important piece, and you'll see this come up a couple of times, one of the biggest pains of secure systems that might be out in the world today is that all of them require all of the third-party systems require some sort of change to the way that people are printing today. So you have to set up port monitoring, you have to have a print server, you take away direct IP. There's just a lot of things that when you install them, you find out pretty quickly that the way the customer used to print is not the way they're going to be printing in the future, and that's very, very tough to convince IT people about, and most companies once they see how these things work. The last thing that we did that's not technical, but really works along the line of working within the interest of MPS and service and support contracts, but also the world is now a dollar world. If you buy an app on the iTunes store, or if you buy a song or anything like that, it's $1. So the printing for Secure, it's priced at $1 per device per month, per imaging device per month. So it bundles easily with MPS contracts. In fact, when you look at this pricing on a per-page basis, if your if the service contract that you have or the MPS contract, let's say, is a minimum of 10,000 pages, that's put 3 zeros and then a 1. So a tenth of a mil, or I think that's 100th of a mil per page is what Secure would cost on a device basis. The other key to this pricing was to make sure that the software for our dealers is really owned by the dealer. We want them to be more sticky at the end of the contract. And all of our other products now, and we're moving towards this, all of our other products, the customer purchases it and owns it. And so there's no real incentive for them to stay with our dealers because they've got the cow and the milk. And so they're pretty they can move on easily with this software because you've essentially put it in there. When your contract is over, if they decide to move on, you can take the software out as well. And so that was a real key. Stickiness. We want our dealers to make sure that they never lose a customer ever. And so this type of pricing works along that way. Now, when we're talking about the customers, the end users, and some of you may be online, as I mentioned, we have a ton of people online today. When it comes to the customers, what was really interesting when we did a lot of surveying, I think the #1 thing that gets underneath people's skin is these abandoned, unclaimed print jobs that are left on printers. In fact, this particular picture that you see on my screen here, it was taken off a blog. If you type into Google print jobs left on printers, or unclaimed print jobs, or abandoned print jobs, you will see literally hundreds, if not thousands, of people railing against other people leaving print jobs on devices. For me as a CEO, I got to tell you, of a company, every time I see it, I know that it's wasteful. I wonder if those documents are confidential. I wonder who printed them. Essentially, Print Audit Secure eliminates that problem. That problem disappears, which is a huge value, not just on the cost basis, but is a huge value at the end of the day for anybody that this drives nuts. The second piece, of course, is around document security. Documents are not secure when they're left like this. Documents are not secure when they come out of printers. Documents are definitely not secure when they get printed to a device and mistakenly printed to a device and the user never knows where they went and then they print it again. Really, document security is very important to all companies nowadays, and in many cases is regulated by governments around the world. And so we've added a level of security here that really is, the document does not release until you're standing at the printer to receive it. And for IT and organizations that are that have large IT departments, probably the biggest pain is installing software that changes the whole network. Print Audit Secure, because of a system that we built called Intelligent Print Routing System, IPRS. It works, it installs, it works. Nobody has to change anything on the network. It's up to the administrator. One of the very coolest things that I think is about this, that this system is built, is, as I mentioned, we eliminated the need for release stations. And what I mean by that is most companies will sell you a proprietary release station that only works with their software. What we've done with this is we've built it so that it'll work off of any web-enabled device. And so probably my favorite is walking up to the printers here at Print Audit and releasing a job with my smartphone, with my, I've got my iPhone. You can't see it obviously because I don't have video, but my iPhone or any browser or really any web-enabled device that has a browser on it, so tablets, iPads, Android tablets, all those sorts of things. They're very inexpensive, easy to get, and it just adds a real neat, cool factor to the whole secure release system. So now what I'm going to do very quickly is I'm going to give you a quick demo of how the software works. I'm going to print a job, and then I'm going to release a job. And when I release a job, what you'll see is you'll see my browser releasing it, so my web browser off of my computer. It's just it's the only way I can show it, but keep in mind you could release this from a smartphone, a tablet computer. We have built one embedded for one of the OEMs, and we will be moving on to build embedded for as many OEMs as possible. Another thing that we found that was kind of cool, which is a side benefit, is that most of the OEMs are putting web browsers directly into the panels of their systems with their new devices, and nicely, Print Audit Secure just works with those browsers. So we're pretty happy about that. For authentication, we've gone to a single sign-on type system, so we'll authenticate with whatever directory authority the company already has, so Active Directory, LDAP, that sort of thing. And that can be authenticated via swipe card, proximity card, a PIN code, or if they've got an eyeball reader, we can do that as well. I'll give you a quick overview of the administration, and you'll see just how clean and quick it is to set up Print Audit Secure, and how clean the web-based interface is. It's really nice. And then I'll show you very quickly the reporting that Secure does to show the return on investment that you and your customer are getting with this system. So without further ado, let's get into a overview. So I'm going to log in. Oh, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to print a job. And within Google Chrome, click on Print. It'll pull it up. And I'm going to print this to, let's say, this device, which is actually pretty far away from me at Print Audit, and you'll see how the pull print feature works as well. So I'm going to print it, and then you'll see at the bottom of the screen here, the job will spool, and then it pops up with a with a notice saying printout secure, the document name, which is login, was successfully secured. So your users know immediately that this job was secured and that it's sitting on the secure print server. Now, I've got PIN code set up for my authentication because it's very quick to do this way, and I like it that way. And what you see now on my screen, I've left it because I'm an administrator. I've left it so you can see that it's literally 4 steps to set up this software once it's installed on the system. And actually, the 4th step is you're ready to go. So, you can read these on the screen. But what I'm going to show you now is where that print job went. Most people, other than an administrator on the system, would just see this screen when they've got it. And this screen essentially is asking them what printer they're standing at. So if they've got their smartphone and they're releasing from their smartphone, they'll be able to see, there will be a sticker on the printer that'll say, this is printer ID RICCB. And then they'll click on it, put in that, and it will show all of the print jobs that they have sitting in the queue. So as you can see here, I've loaded up quite a few print jobs onto the system, so you can see how they would look. On a mobile phone, they look a little bit different, but it's again very, very nice. The screen adjusts to the size, and the system will automatically adjust itself to any mobile browser based on it logging in, and it'll look great. So I printed to this printer, which is actually pretty far away from me, and I happen to know that it's that there's 10 people standing in line and photocopying stuff, but I'm standing in front of this other printer. So you can print to printer A, and you can release it to printer B. And when you release, it's a very quick process. You can see up in the corner here, release to RICCB. I can actually hear it printing behind me. One of the other things that drives people nuts about other types of systems like this is there seems to be a long wait between asking to release and the release happening. Ours is instantaneous, and the reason for that is that we don't actually repackage or change the job at all. We hold it in its original format, and we push it right through the port immediately as soon as it's released from the system. So there is no delay. That's a real key. But what I just did was what's called in, there's other systems, follow me, pull print, follow you, the print job's waiting for you, all sorts of stuff. But that's the idea, is that if a printer is busy for load balancing, or you happen to go to another building and you want to release a job that you printed, you can do that. So that was how easy it is to print and release a job. What I'm going to do over the next 30 seconds or so, or a minute or so, I'm going to just show you quickly how some of the setup works. You can see on the screen here that there's compatibility. One of the questions that we get asked all the time is, if I print to my Kyocera, will it come out okay on the Ricoh? If I print to my Sharp, will it come out okay on the Lexmark, or whatever? Some companies, they force you into compatibility. What we've done is we've made it administrative. We've made it an administrative function that the administrator at the organization can determine compatibility. Here at Print Audit, most manufacturers, they send us their devices to test our systems on to make sure that we're working with them. So we've got a whole lab full of different devices. We've been very lucky. We've actually found that there aren't any devices that are incompatible, at least with print quality. Some devices will actually change a PCL to a PostScript or whatever. So that's our luck here, but in other organizations, what you'll find is maybe you have to build compatibility groups. In this case, if what I've got set up here is I'm not allowed to release jobs that are not compatible with the printer that I'm standing at. But that, again, is an administrative function. You can turn that off and allow people to release to non-compatible printers and just see how it goes. So there's no restriction there, very easy to use. And I'll show you quickly, compatibility groups are very quick and easy to set up. If you're going to create a new compatibility group, that warning that you saw on the last screen had to do with the systems going back and forth and jobs moving around. You just type in a group name, let's say work together, and choose devices that work together, and that's all there is to it. for compatibility groups. Also, adding in printers, there is no limitation on the server to the number of printers that can be put into the system. And so you see that I've got 5 here. It can be 5,000 printers on this system if you want. And getting printers into the system is as easy as importing, manual entry. There's a lot of different ways to get the printers into the system. Quickly on the configuration side, as I mentioned, the authentication for the system is through Active Directory or LDAP. You can use, for actually authenticating, you can use password, PIN, swipe, all those sorts of things, and really, like, you can set it up to have anything, and we'll save the data on the Active Directory or LDAP server. But it takes roughly about 5–10 minutes to set it up once it's installed. The database, this is just the database that the system's on. I'm working off of a Windows 2003 server that has, the dependency is that it has .NET 4, which is freely available from Microsoft. In fact, most servers just have it on there, and IIS, which is shipped with Microsoft servers as well. And as you can see, we hook onto SQL, and so you can get a free version of SQL Express, which will manage most organizations, or if they happen to have a SQL server, we'll bolt right onto the SQL server that they've got already. Of course, we want to make sure that Print Audit 6 is not affected. The data isn't affected by a print job. So if a print job goes out and is never released, we don't want Print Audit 6 to say that it was released. And so all of you that have Print Audit 6 customers or sell Print Audit 6 with this, the data integrity is still there. And then there's a couple of other quick settings that I want to show you. One of them is down here about purging jobs. One of the things that we really want the world to understand is that this is not a document server. It's not meant to keep a whole bunch of documents on it. We'll suggest to people that they scrub the server after 24 hours. This is a catch and release program. It's not meant to be a document server, as I mentioned. So that was a quick overview of configuration. I was able to do it, and so I think that anybody, any technical or non-technical person would be able to set this up in just minutes on their system. Now I'll give you a quick overview of reporting. The reporting is an interesting system, and as you can tell here, I don't print a lot or cancel a lot of jobs. This is just my database, but you can see canceled jobs, pages. You can look at an ROI. You can build an ROI and just sort of build together some really neat statistics around trees saved by jobs that were not released. So what I did was I went through a print job. I released a print job in seconds, as you saw. Quick administration overview, and really you've seen the entire system. There isn't anything really hidden behind it after that. And I've showed you quickly how the reporting works, and the reporting is to show ROI and environmental benefit. So for office equipment dealers, I'll tell you another quick story. We've seen and heard of people that are installing this in their demo rooms, and essentially the value is that they're showing off a snazzy new billion page per minute device, and the salesperson that's showing it off, or the tech in there, he'll click on print to release the job, and then he goes up and he's got his iPad, and he shows the secure and releases the job right while he's standing there. Almost immediately, every time we've heard that the customer says wow when they see print job released from a smartphone or an iPad or whatever. So that's kind of cool. They're interested in it. New talk track. Also, he can start working on a talk track that says, hey, you know what? This is going to save you enough money that you can get those extra features that you want, or you can move up to this next device. And so it's a great conversation piece about how the customer can get what they actually want and afford it along the same lines. So what the call to action is, or what we'd like to see you guys try right now is all of the office equipment dealers that are on the system, feel free to install Print Audit Secure in your demo room. We have a free, not for resale copy of Print Audit Secure. You can reach out to us. You can download it off the website, of course, and try it out that way. And you can contact Print Audit here in North America or anywhere, any of our worldwide offices, to request an NFR version for your demo room that'll never expire, and you can use it to wow your customers. For those of you that don't know about us, I'm going to do a quick overview showing you some of the things that we've done over the last few years. We're pretty proud of Print Audit. It's started out in the basement of my house, and now we're a worldwide company with 10 offices, 8 offices around the world, and growing, and distributors in just about every country. And you know, one of the really cool things is when we started this thing in 1999, we never expected that people would be installing the software in Russian somewhere in Moscow and receiving a whole bunch of benefit from it. Print Audit has about 5,500 dealers around the world, and this grows every day that sell or use our products. We also have products that do remote device management. Our facilities manager, which is growing at a massive rate, it's a fantastic system that really has shown office equipment dealers a quicker and better way to be proactive in managing devices, and that's what the dealers do, or they sell the Print Audit 6 to their customers, and now Print Audit Secure. Print Audit 6 and Print Copy Scan Director, which is Rico's version of Print Audit 6, is about 3 months ago we went past the 1 million desktop mark. And for those of you guys that are in North America, the biggest stadium in North America is a college stadium with 110,000 people, and if you ever see pictures of that, imagine that times 10. So another real big milestone for Print Audit was hitting the million desktops. So that's literally 1 million people that are saving on their print costs and being more efficient with their printing around the world. There was a recent North American study by CompTIA, and they were looking at device management systems, and out of the 275 dealers that they spoke to, 40% of those dealers, the highest market share, were using Print Audit to monitor their devices and manage their MIF and fleets. Another thing that we're very proud of here is Print Audit has literally won every award possible, not just in this industry. We've won lots of customer support awards. We've won lots of product awards, and really we're quite proud of how much people like our products and how much they like our support and service after they buy our products. And another great statistic is with the device management system, we are now monitoring about 7 billion pages, which is an amazing amount of pages and information on devices around the world. And because of that, and the Print Audit 6 and the monitoring and all of the software that we do, that we sell, we estimate that over the last few years, Print Audit has probably stopped about 2 million trees from needing to be cut down. So as paper consumption either lowers or is more efficient, Print Audit's got a piece of that, or is partially responsible, and everybody around here is very proud of that fact. So now I'm going to get into some time for questions. You can see up on the screen here, my email and contact details are up on the screen. Feel free to contact me anytime. And as I said, we'd love you to put an NFR into your, or a demo of this into your demo rooms. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to zip into some questions. So if you have questions, last week we had close to 100 questions that sort of piled in, and I did make it through all of them. This week we have very few questions, so feel free. Right now is the time, but I'll answer the ones that we've got on here as I expand my window here. Okay, so the first one is from Melina Adams, who works for Print Audit. This is a test. Okay, good. Thanks, Melina. Next one, can we get a copy of the webinar? Yeah, so what's going to happen is with the webinar, GoToMeeting will actually send you a link tomorrow with a link to the webinar. I am recording it. I've I got to tell you, I'm hopefully I'm technical enough to make the whole thing work, but I expect I will because it worked out last week. We also have last week's webinar on, and there were close to 100 people on last week as well. Peter Hertz saying, well done, John, thank you. Michael Laird, can you track printing from mobile device, iPad, iPhone, BlackBerry, etc.? That's an interesting question. So we get this all the time. The answer, in short, is no. It's not built for that. It's built for releasing print jobs that you print from your workstations. We are on this and watching it. Really, there isn't a clear path around printing from iPhones, iPads. I've got an iPhone and an iPad, and I can't print to save my life. I know everybody's interested in it, and what Print Audit will do is when there seems to be a clear path towards how people print off of those devices, we will be on it like white on rice. We'll be there. So we just don't have any way to do it today, and quite frankly, those systems aren't ready for print tracking quite yet. Now, going further to that, there are a lot of schools and universities that are bringing iPads and such in. They are typically using a Citrix terminal or some sort of terminal type service to serve up the information that's needed for the students to use them. When they print off of those devices, we do work off of that because we work with Citrix and we launch a piece. It's very similar to Windows printing. Where can I find the CompTIA 40% market share report? Gee, that's a really good question. I'll tell you what, whoever this is, please send me a quick email and I'll send it to you, or at least a link to it. It just came out last week or 2 weeks ago. Okay, what do we need to get sales literature and mailings and prospecting? So Jennifer, if you reach out to Print Audit at this number, there's somebody that's assigned to your territory. They'll be able to give you everything you need to be successful with Secure. Is there a life cycle management tool built into this program? So Chris, I'm not sure, and if you want to clarify on the question if I don't answer it correctly. Life cycle management tool, again, this is a catch and release program, so it's not a document management tool. What we strongly suggest to people is have the database, have the jobs that are sitting in there be purged very regularly. We're going to suggest 24 hours for most people. They can set it to whatever they want, but really when you print a job now and you go to the print job to the printer, it's there waiting. And that's kind of the idea behind this, except for instead of it being there waiting, you get to release it when you're standing there. So different than a document management system, which isn't what this was built for. This is a way to secure your print jobs and remove those stacks of unclaimed print jobs. Okay, so not a ton of questions so far. I'll wait another couple of seconds here to see if anybody else has any questions. There's a lot of people online, just not as many questions as last week. Maybe I did a better job this week than last week. Yeah, so if you've got any more questions, we'll wait another 30 seconds or so. And if not, I'll end the webinar, and you will get an email tomorrow with a link to a recording of this webinar. And of course, any questions or comments or anything like that, feel free to forward them to me. And if you want to get an NFR for your demo room, our people here will help you immediately to get that. Okay, so no other questions have popped up. Oh, wait, just when I said it. Can I modify a finishing option on the printer before releasing the print job? Great question. Thanks, Kelman. The answer is no, there is no modification on the finishing option. And this has something to do along with the lines with the compatibility. We get asked often, well, if I have stapling, and if I've got stapling but I release it at a device that doesn't staple, what will happen? It won't come out stapled if the device doesn't have stapling. We again, if you want the exact finishing options that you put into the job when you printed it, release it at the printer that you started at. We don't move any of that stuff around or allow for that, really, because we don't know, and there's no way on a printer-by-printer basis to know what their finishing options are, how you've got them, if you want to add them or not. So really what happens with this, most people will, it'll be a point-to-point print and release. They'll print and they'll walk to the same device that they printed to. So he wrote thanks. Thank you. Do jobs stay in the queue after printing? The answer is no. They are released to the system and purged from our system. Technically, I'm not sure how that happens, but they don't exist in the queue after they're released. Thanks for that question, Steve. What type of redundancy is available? Another one. Good question, because I'm not sure exactly what you mean. The redundancy on the system is it sits on a single server within the customer's network, or it can sit in multiple servers. There wouldn't be any real redundancy if the jobs if something happens to the server and it cacks, which is unlikely because we build great stuff. But if something happens with the server and all the jobs happen to disappear, people will have to print them again. Again, this is a catch and release program, so that wouldn't cause a whole heck of a lot of grief, because it would happen between one person printing and walking to that printer. But there isn't any specific redundancy for one failover to another failover device, because it's not really, it's not as mission critical as that. So I hope that answers that question. Any other questions? Okay, good. So we've been about sizing of the server. There is another one that came up. I love answering questions, so happy to see these pop up. Sizing of the server. The server is I don't know the actual size of the program. I know it's extremely small, so it's not a huge program that sits on the server. Where sizing can get kind of crazy is if you're not purging jobs, because we do keep the actual, I don't know the technical name for it, but we keep what the print job looks like when it left until it's actually released. And so it can get kind of out of control if you're not purging on an ongoing basis. You've got throughput considerations as well as a question. Throughput really is the exact same throughput as if the user had printed it. The only thing that we're doing is getting in the middle, holding it until it's released. Number of users active per server. Oh, so the licensing on this is not user-based. The licensing on this is device-based. So it's the number of devices that they're paying for, or you're paying for on a monthly basis. And so if in my case, I've got a license of five printers for this company, it won't allow me to put more than 5 printers on. The licensing, very similar to Print Audit 6, you call us, we give you a license. If you need more, we can increment it. So that's users. Are multiple servers synchronized? No. So the way that this will work is very similar, again, to our device management system. If we can't see another subnet or something like that, it won't pass a job to the other server. The jobs are where they are. It's very lightweight, so if the networks can see each other, even if they're across a WAN or a LAN, it's okay, because you'll be able to release the print jobs as you would otherwise. But if the devices are not on the same network or don't have access to the same network, then it's not a pass-through. Now, that said, we've heard of people talking about using this as a web-based system online. All that stuff will work because it uses IIS, but essentially the way that we built it is to be internally secure, and so cross subnets, you're unlikely to be able to pass a job from, if you've got a subnet in San Jose and another one in New York, and they're separate ones, you're probably going to have separate servers. The server version of the software is free. It's just the number of devices that we charge for. Website mentions integration with card readers. Yes, so we'll work with any USB-based card reader right now, and it doesn't matter what it is, card reader, swipe, proximity. It'll work with anything like that. What happens is the user just registers their card, unless it's already done on Active Directory or LDAP. They'll register their card, and that card is remembered forever as theirs. Okay. Well, I'm going to sign off. It's 11:40. Or 11:40 in Calgary. I really appreciate your time. If you have more questions, reach out to us. Reach out to me. I'll pass you on to our sales staff, and we've got really some great knowledgeable people that are going to get this through to you and make sure that it gets you everything you need. Feel free to try it out, because that's the best way that we'll find out how it works, is everybody in the world giving it a try. So thank you for your time, and yeah, thanks for being online with us today. You've given us an hour, and I appreciate it. Bye-bye.